All right, we have returned to the infamous Fire Road 1881 on the Royal Enfield Himalayan. And we'll see how she does here. Monkey made it through here no problem. So I figured we'd come out here and ride this thing, and as we're going along, we'll do kind of a rolling review and talk about the pros and cons of the Royal Enfield Himalayan. Let's get underway. So as we go along, I'm just going to talk about my top 5 pros and cons of owning this bike that I've encountered so far in the first 500 miles of ownership. And the first one I got to say is a con. It is the windshield. We're going to talk about that. Some of you might have noticed that I don't have the stock windshield on here anymore. I ended up buying a shorter one because I discovered when I stood in clean air, all the turbulence went away and my audio got better when I was recording. So conventional wisdom would have said to get a taller one, and I just didn't think that it was going to work, so I went with a shorter one. After I've watched a lot of Himalayan videos from India, and I've seen a lot of them running around with no windscreen at all. And I actually got comments from a few people from India who said, yeah, we'd take the windshield off because it's terrible. So having no windshield is better than the stock Himalayan windshield. So I kind of threw a Hail Mary and purchased a Hickok Shorty windshield. And so far it's working fine. So I was getting a lot of buffeting above 50 miles an hour on the street. So bad to the point where if you've ever tried to look through buzzy mirrors, that's what I was seeing out of my eyeballs looking forward. It was just so vibrating and buzzy that I would have to reach up and grab the visor of the helmet to stop the vibration so I could see, even to read the dash. It was that bad. So con number 5, stock windshield is pretty terrible. That's scrapped and I got a shorty. So my number 5 pro for the bike, it's got to be the comfort. This is one comfortable bike. The seat height is really nice. It's, you know, shorter people can ride it. Even taller people like myself, I can flat foot this thing. I can duck walk it. I can just do what's needed. And the Monkey, I keep using it for comparison. I do duck walk it a lot more than I stand because it's more difficult to stand on that bike. Where with this bike, I can do either or equally as well. It readily stands up. I can duck walk it, no problem. And even the cushioning on the seat I find to be fine, which I wasn't expecting. I was expecting it to be something I would be looking to replace right away due to reviews and videos that I had seen about the bike. Let's go this way. And I'm just not finding that to be the case. Maybe my butt is shaped perfectly for this seat or something. I don't know. Stock seat is doing absolutely fine for me. May not for some other people, but for me it is. And so that'll bring us to con number 4, and that's the horsepower. It just makes 24.5 horsepower peak, and in perspective that's fine, but I live in the American market and we have a lot of high-speed highways and things where we need some speed on occasion, and this will like barely handle that. So it's barely adequate when it comes to horsepower is the best I'll say at it. 24 horsepower is a little disappointing out of a 400cc engine, but it's a long stroke engine that's designed to make its power down low. So it's hard to hold it against it, if you understand what I'm saying. So that'll bring us to pro number 4. That is the torque. Makes 23 foot-pounds of torque, which is really good. You see I'm not feathering the clutch a whole lot. I'm just letting the torque of the engine carry me through a lot of this. It's got the grunt, just give it some gas, let it rip. I don't want to submarine this thing like I did the monkey. So we'll try to take it easy on this here. Cool it a little bit. Sounded like I had a pannier box open. Alright, so where are we at? We're at number 3. Alright, so con number 3. I'm going to say con number 3 for me, I don't want to use the term build quality. I think the term we're actually looking for is craftsmanship, because the bike's pretty solid. Granted, it's been improved over the years, but for the most part, pretty solid. But things like the welds aren't pretty, you know. It could be done better. And just little quality control things like that kind of hold it back. And I think I want to use the term craftsmanship. It's like they didn't really take a whole lot of pride in their work. They want to after the bike's left the factory. They want to be proud of it, but not while they're building it for some reason. So there's a lot of little quirks and things that they can fix, but they just don't. And that's just not a Royal Enfield thing. There's a lot of companies that do that. Take my temperature sensor, just as an example. How hard would it be for the factory to move that thing away from the engine? Not hard at all. This bike's been on the market 5 years now, and they still put it in a crappy location. But then again, like KTM does the same thing with their hydraulic master cylinders on their bikes. They can't replace a 50-cent O-ring and fix the problem. Instead, they just wait for whoever purchases the bike to fix it themselves. So yeah, craftsmanship would probably be my number 3. Number 3 con. Let's get through this tunnel here. Which way to go? Which way to go? Go this way. My number 3 pro would be the fuel capacity, mileage, and range. So we got a 4-gallon gas tank, which is nice. Ooh, big rocks. Oh yeah. Plus a 70 to 80 mile a gallon fuel economy, which gives us about a 280 mile range on paper. I've yet to verify that, but that should be good on paper. And I'm going to stop here and take a break, because that was a rough little climb coming through that little rock garden. And after I take a break, we'll get back to the countdown. Well, we just happened to stop and take a break at a campsite. I kind of wanted to go camping this weekend, but I don't have all my gear together yet. I've got to get some things together before I can do that. Let's go ahead and talk about con number 2. And that is the sparse dealer network. Royal Enfield dealers just aren't plentiful. There's 2 in the state of Virginia. And the one that I go to is 2 hours away. The other one's 4 hours away. So if I have a little problem with the bike, I got to fix it myself. And if it's something big, you know, I will have to have it trucked somewhere, you know, to have warranty work done on it. But cross our fingers that we don't have that problem. But all the maintenance and everything like that, you know, I've got to do it myself. First service has just been done and I did it myself. But not everybody has the capability to do that. And so it's not a bike for everybody. And that's a big reason why, is because not everybody has access to a local Royal Enfield dealer. And dealer support is important. And that's one thing that Royal Enfield really needs to step up. And it's hard for them to do that if their bikes aren't selling. And if their bikes aren't selling because people can't get to the dealers, it's kind of a vicious circle. But that doesn't make it any less of a con. So that is con number 2. All right, break time's over. We picked up a couple of hitchhikers. Give us a wave, guys. And let's get back underway. All right, and the Himalayan will lead us out of here. Let's see what we got here. Lots of mud, lots of mud. Could have picked a drier line there. Alright, big muddy corner here. Just pick a drier line. Slipping and sliding. Yeah, these stock tires are pretty slick in this wet stuff. They do well in the dry, but not so much in the wet. Slipping and sliding. Alright, that big puddle that the monkey went submarining through is coming up. I've got to keep an eye out for it. And hopefully I ain't keeping these guys, holding these guys up too much. Once I get done leading this little train, we'll get back to the topic of our video. So we're gonna take a little break from our countdown until we get past the big puddle coming up here. Cut up a fallen tree. Took the high line. Got a rocky line here. So where were we on our countdown? I think we're at the number 2 Pro. And for me, the number 2 Pro for this bike is the suspension and the brakes. Now, while the suspension isn't anything whiz-bang, inverted, adjustable, except for preload on the rear, it just works. There's no messing with it, no screwing with it. It's sprung for about my weight. Haven't bottomed it out on anything. I've jumped it. It just works. I'm not screwing around with it. No trouble at all. Let's launch off this. There we go. Works great. Another one is the brakes. Most reviewers talk about how bad the brake is, especially the front. this is the monkey hole right here. We gotta take a break here for a second. That's the hole right there. It was full. When we came through here with the monkey, that hole was full of water. So there it is. All right, so that's out of the way. Where were we? Oh yeah, I was talking about the brakes. The front brake is weak, but they did it that way so when you're in conditions like this, you can grab a handful of that front brake and not wash out the front end of the bike. If this thing had some super stopper dual discs on it, it'd be a problem here. But the brake isn't an issue here. It just works. So in the environment the bike's designed for, the brakes and suspension work fine. And we're getting into some mud here. And there was our seat height right there. Oh, here we go again. So the ability to duck walk across some of this stuff is very handy. Just like with the monkey and its little size, this bike's only got a seat height 1 inch higher than the monkey. So even though it weighs almost twice as much, it's only about 1 inch taller when seated. Alright, we'll get here. This might hurt. Oh, I made it. Give something for them dirt bike guys behind me to do. We're wanting to follow a Himalayan through here. This is about the spot where I saw the coyote last time. Oh, that was deep. That was deep and it broke all my momentum. Where are we at on our countdown? We're up to number 1, ain't we? All right. I'm going to wait on those until I take my next break. I'm kind of busy right now. Where does that go?
On the map, it's not a trail, it's a pipeline.
Is
You
it?
can see it from the parkway. I think me and them talked about it, but I wouldn't do it during hunting season.
Yeah.
It's hard telling who'd be up there.
Hell, I was worried about coming out here today.
Yeah.
Yeah, these tires are slick. Just,
You'd be pushing that thing harder than I think I would on them tires. That's for damn sure.
yeah. Had to take a couple of jumps back there. Yeah, I didn't remember seeing that last time I was up here. This has rutted up quite a bit since me and Jeremy came up here. It's funny, if the water was all gone out of the monkey puddle there, I'll have to annotate a picture in what it looked like when we brought the monkey through for new subscribers. Rocks. Oh, big mud here. Yeah, it looks like this has gotten all gnarled up from four-wheelers, four-wheel drive trucks and things. So I gotta watch the ruts. Coming up on the spot where Jeremy dumped the TW at. It's hard to tell what's coming up with all the leaves on the trails. Makes it difficult to see what to, or guess as to what you can expect. You don't really know what's hidden beneath them. Jump. Another trail that way. I don't know where that goes. Yeah, the Himalayan jumps fine. It's not landing with a thud like the monkey does. Yeah, this is where Jeremy ate it, right here. And just so he don't forget, I will annotate in a shot of that. And I'm going to take a break right here. This is where I'm taking a break at. This is where we got lost. All right, there goes my riding buddies for the day. I'm gonna take a little break and we'll get back to it. Well, my riding companions that I picked up along the way have gone ahead and left. And we are only about a mile left on this trail. We're getting close to the end. So let's wrap up our pros and cons segment of the video. We're at number one. So my number one pro for this bike is that they still make them like they used to. You always hear they don't make them like they used to. Yes, they do. Royal Enfield's been making these bikes the way they used to since 1955. This is the Indian factory. So you don't get like rider modes, or TFT displays and things like that. It's not really high-tech stuff. This is an old school bike. And that's one of the things I love about it. I can work on it myself. I can do all the maintenance, everything myself. It's just like buying an old bike brand new, which is right up my alley. That's what I really want. And that'll bring us straight into our number one con of this bike. They still make them like they used to, which means you're going to be working on this thing. Yeah, the service interval is like 3,000 miles for valve checks, not valve adjustments, valve checks. You need to check the valves every 3,000 miles. And just everything on it is, I don't want to say it's old, but it's older technology. You're not going to have, rider display modes and things like that some people do want. So if you're wanting a modern bike with rider modes, and this does have ABS, but all of that stuff, TFT displays, digital, whatever, whiz bang technology, you're not going to get it here. So this bike is not for everybody. So my number one pro and con is that yes, they do still make them like they used to, which will bring us to our bonus. I'll call it a pro, I guess, and that is this is an old school bike. This is not an old school bike. Now what I mean by that is those are two different things. One is old school. This is how they used to make them, cradle frame. There's no plastic fairings, anything like that on this bike. Fenders are plastic. That's okay, I don't mind that. But there's nothing on this bike to kind of shape it into some weird look like a lot of them modern bikes have. Just a gas tank on top of an engine sitting in a cradle frame. It looks like a motorcycle should look. And it's not really a retro design, because that's just the way the bike would turn out to look like if you built a bike like this. If you built a motorcycle the traditional way, that's what you get. It's not designed in a manner to make it look old. So it's not a retro bike. On the other hand, it's not old school. Old school is like the Monkey. That's a new bike that's been designed to look like an old bike. If you catch what I'm saying, that's the difference. So we've got an old designed bike versus a bike designed to look old. So there's our bonus. Old school bike versus old school bike. There's the difference. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm going to wrap this up and start heading home. I had to peel out of my layers. I was sweating. Uncle Voodoo represented on the trail ride over here. Those guys followed me the whole way. They were a little bit impressed with the handling characteristics of the Himalayan through the slippery stuff. I got sideways quite a few times. Didn't lose it, didn't dump it. We only had one down. That was, I think a rock took out the XR 650L. He dumped it, hit a rock, and it hit his shifter, put him in neutral on a hill, and he went down. Hurt his elbow a little bit, but he's okay. The Yamaha did fine. Himalayan did fine. Everybody made it out of here. Nobody got seriously hurt. And so my wife, she'll end up watching this. I didn't get hurt, honey. Wasn't me. So that's it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys enjoyed the shots that I was able to get. And I'll catch you next time. Take care.